On his first day at work, he accidentally poured hot water on his boss's legs just to test if his boss really couldn't feel anything. During lunch, he stared at the pretty secretary and ended up feeding rice into his boss's eye instead of his mouth. While helping him bathe, he rubbed foot water on the boss's head and used shampoo on his feet. Strangely, the boss didn't fire him. Instead, he offered him a high salary to stay. Why? Because he was the only one who didn't treat the boss like a patient. That night, when the boss's phone rang, he instinctively handed it over, completely forgetting the boss was paralyzed and couldn't move his hands. He always refused to use the caregiver van when going out. Instead, he pulled off the cover of a sports car, lifted the boss into the passenger seat, and the two of them roared off to feel the engine's power. The boss, named Philippe, was once a billionaire, but a paragliding accident left him completely paralyzed. Only his head could move. He decided to hire a caregiver. Many highly qualified candidates applied. Some were Ivy League grads. Others had years of experience, but none of them impressed Philippe. Instead, he chose Driss, a man who knew nothing about caregiving. What Philippe didn't know was that Driss wasn't really there for the job. He'd just gotten out of prison and only wanted a rejection letter so he could continue collecting government welfare. He had no intention of pleasing anyone, mocking Philippe's taste and making fun of his lack of humor. But Philippe found him refreshing. Everyone else was too stiff and overly cautious. Only Driss was real and direct. So Philippe got clever and told him to come back tomorrow for the rejection letter. The next day, the housekeeper gave Driss a full tour of the mansion, room by room, with servants everywhere. But what truly caught Driss's attention was the spotless white bathroom. His own home didn't even have a proper place to shower. When he saw Philippe again, he thought he'd be thrown out. Instead, Philippe offered him a trial period. For Driss, it felt like winning the lottery. He said yes immediately. Philippe's friends couldn't understand why he'd hire a guy like that. He's got a record, comes from the projects, and has no compassion, they said. But that's exactly why Philippe chose him, because Driss didn't pity him or feel sorry for him. For the first time, Philippe felt like he was being treated as an equal. But this seemingly unreliable man ended up saving Philippe's life. One night, Philippe began having trouble breathing. Without a word, Driss wiped the sweat from his face, pressed his cold hands gently against his cheeks, and stayed with him until the pain passed. To prevent another episode, he wheeled Philippe through the quiet Paris streets at 4 a.m. Philippe explained it was phantom pain, like tossing a frozen steak into boiling oil. Driss didn't say much. He just listened and kept pushing the wheelchair. Then one day, Driss discovered that Philippe had a pen pal. They'd been writing for 6 months, but had never spoken, never met, not even a phone call. Driss could tell Philippe liked her, but Philippe insisted he only wanted a spiritual connection. Driss knew the truth. Philippe was afraid she'd reject him if she knew he was paralyzed. So Driss picked up the phone and called her himself. Philippe panicked, even though he pretended to resist. Once the call went through, he quickly opened up and chatted with her at length. After that, he couldn't stop calling, talking about art, poetry, life. Their bond grew deeper and deeper, until she said she wanted to meet. That was Philippe's worst fear. He froze. He didn't know how to tell her he was paralyzed. That's when Driss came up with a brilliant